Welcome, everyone, to the penultimate race of the HTL Cup Series season. Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway, the BFL night race. Race 24 of 25. 8 drivers vying for a championship. Only one gets to be champion by the end of next Monday's race in Kentucky. The next to last step to immortality is here in Thunder Valley. Welcome, everyone, to ABN's coverage of the HTL Cup Series and the HTL Cup playoffs. We're glad you're with us. So let's enjoy the show tonight. Over 30 cars taking on 250 laps here in Bristol. It's all coming next. The action beginning in earnest as we get ready to go racing here today. It is the BFL night race, 250 laps, 3 stages of racing, no stage breaks, but we're going to see some sparks fly as we get ready to go racing here. And here's why this is the case. Entering Bristol, Shad Swatsworth, a race winner this season, make that 2 race wins after winning in Atlanta last Monday. He's got a 4-point advantage over David Smeal Jr. John Hagan sits in 3rd, ahead of Josh Arnold, Josh Susi, Jeremy Braille, Tucker Sawyer, and Hunter Peach. Hunter Peach suffered a 50-point penalty from Atlanta for intentionally drawing a caution. Race manipulation penalty there for him. So he's got a huge hill to climb and not a lot of time to overcome that deficit with 2 races to go in the season. Mark Kissenweather, you're currently your rookie of the year this season. He sits 9th place, best of the rest of those eliminated from the round of 16. Then it's Eli Sassa, Caitlin Height, who's climbed all the way up to 11th place, Bailey Thompson in 12th. Then it's Kyle Tal, Blake Henderson, Lily Sharp, and Josh Gaiman. Your top 16, your best of the rest, Zach Meredith, Dean Clavitt, Austin Mongold, and Dustin Hall in a battle up in those echelon places, 17th through 20th. Patrick Oberstadt, who's not here today, being filled in for by Matt Vorndren. Alfred Denny, Elias Flores, and Ross Baxter make up your top 24. And that will get us ready to go here in Bristol as we get ready to race. Qualifying basically wrapped up here with only 3 cars yet to set qualifying times. We'll go ahead and focus on one of the last drivers to run here. This is Dean Clavitt on your screen. 68 starts tonight. So he can go for his 2nd career pole position. If he starts next Monday in Kentucky, he'll have a nice number of starts. He'll have 69. Looking at where he's at right now, currently 20th fastest, and it is only enough for 12th. There you go. 14.562 for Clavitt. And we'll focus on someone trying to set the absolute record here, 1 mile an hour. He is rolling. Don't want to tire out the drone camera too awful much because he is going for probably the fastest lap ever. He's got less than a minute to complete the lap around this half-mile racetrack. We all have a lot of fun here. He is the Team Conti car. The QR code. If you want to go faster than Dustin Hall, use the QR code in the bottom left of your screen for setups, development, coaching, and more. The 7th Gen car we're using tonight, the Gen 4s, the Gen 7, Gen 6s used to be a part of their marquee. The trucks, ARCA cars, that's what I was thinking of when I was thinking Gen 6. ARCA cars now. They cover all of it. Michael Conti, one of the absolute best from the eNASCAR competitions, one of the GOATs. Spearheading all that efforts, the QR code or teamconti.gg in your favorite web browser. And maybe you can come in and set a faster lap time than Dustin Hall and his rapid 9-minute 23-second qualifying time. He will start in the 30th place, not last. Bailey Thompson crashed in qualifying and will start 31st. But in all seriousness, we will jump into this race. Only one race coming up here in the HTL Cup Series season. It is the championship race at Kentucky Speedway, 165 laps. That is next Monday, July 21st, right here on Twitch for ABN. No place like home. That was a race that was initially supposed to happen last month. They moved to the finale. Obviously, we're honored that HTL is bringing their championship race to our backyard. But let's focus on tonight. Bristol Motor Speedway, 250 laps is the scheduled distance. We've got 3 green-white checkers available if we need to use overtime here in this race. Traditionally, we have. It's not been always, but traditionally that has been more often than not. Lily Sharp, out of the championship 8, did not advance from the round of 16. Has success here at Bristol, has the fastest race lap, 14.041 for Sharp back in season 4, 2 seasons ago. This is the 5th time Bristol has been in the playoffs. The 6th time HTL has come to Bristol in total. It's been on the calendar every season. You see the previous winners, Dustin Hall, who has his work cut out for him, starting in 30th place. Mark Parkhurst, former champion Zach Meredith, Caitlin Height, and then the 2-time defending champion Josh Susi got his first win in Thunder Valley last season. Pit speed, it is very slow, 30 miles an hour. It is going to be a crawl for the field here, and you're seeing everyone struggling early on. Full tires in this warm-up period. You see a lot of smoke all over the racetrack. This is warm-up, so it is a bit more like Wreckfest, almost in a way. Everyone kind of de-stressing, getting out of the way before we get into the race. The stages, though, no laughing matter. Lap 50 and lap 125 are the stage breaks here. No planned stage breaks for both here and Kentucky. Those were reserved for the plate tracks and the road courses this season. So you have to strategize a little bit about how you want to approach those stages. And if you're in the top 8, if you're in the championship 8, and you'll see them marked in gold in a moment, that is critical. Championship points matter to a dot. Obviously, Chet's walked with 1 last week, but it's a close fight there with David Smith Jr., with Josh Susi, Josh Arnold, all in that mix, and John Hagan in that mix as well. Hagan did not have a good race at Atlanta, but his stage points helped him out a lot. You see Callie Height in a place that she's not been ever in HTL, and that's a victory lane. You saw that at the bottom of your screen. Shout out to Callie. She'll watch that back. She'll get it. Fuel mileage, though, very important. Fuel mileage. This should be realistically a one-stop race. You don't have to worry about stopping in stage 1. Don't have to worry about stopping in stage 2. It's that final stop. Was that only scheduled stop between lap 140 and lap 150. Cautions will extend that quite a bit. Remember, every lap of caution saves you, and it gets you 2 laps under green. Sorry, I said that completely backwards. A lap under caution. A lap under green is 2 under caution, I should say. So you use half the fuel you normally would. Not so eloquent here tonight. It's been a long weekend. So we've been busy all weekend. We've had this is our 5th race in 3 days. So it's been a little bit. But you get the point. You've got 1 pit stop here, and the more cautions we have early on, as people are anticipating, the further back that window gets pushed. Again, you look at a caution period here at Bristol is about 4 laps. That pushes the window 8 laps back. So it goes from being at minimum lap 140 to being lap 148. You add another caution onto that, and it pushes it back further. That's how the math lines up. You get 3 cautions, suddenly you're pitting at lap 160 and not lap 40. You've saved almost 20 laps of fuel. So all of that's very important, and these drivers will need to have that in their heads tonight, that this is a very fluid situation, and that stop is going to be so important because it could be the stop that determines whether or not you win this race or if you're out of the top 10 altogether. And warm-up will come to a close here as we get ready to go racing in earnest. Go ahead and get all this cleared away because we have a starting grid to go through here in just a moment. All right, so the starting grid, this is going to get very, very interesting as we get ready to go here. It is Josh Soucy and Zach Meredith at the front of the field. Soucy, remember, he enters today 5th in points. He's got his work cut out for him. He is starting in the catbird seat, though, alongside the former champion Zach Meredith, who sits in row 1, outside front row. John Hagan needs a good race, 3rd place in points, got some stage points at Atlanta, needs more than that, though. He's 3rd alongside Mason Massey, NASCAR driver both in the Xfinity Cup Series and in the Craftsman Truck Series. He qualified extremely well here. He is in 4th in his first start of the season, his first race in HTL since January's charity event. Chad Swatsworth, Blake Henderson, also good runs for them. Swatsworth needing a good run. He starts 5th alongside Blake Henderson, who has had an abysmal playoff run, obviously eliminated in the round of 16. Trying to end the season on a high note. He's in row 3. Pacey Wygant and Josh Arnold, they're in row 4. Wygant in that new 96 car that he debuted last week. He continues that in the inside of row 4 in 7th place. Arnold in 8th. Jeremy Braille and Tyler Ratliff in row 5. They ran out your top 10. Again, those in gold are in the championship 8. They're fighting for a title. Kalen Height and Dean Clavitt. Kalen Height, new paint, based off the McLaren, driven by Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard. Dean Clavitt in 6th alongside. It is Tucker Sawyer and Bryn Roberts in row number 7. Richard Odie and Alfred Denny in row 8. Row 9, Dale Markowski and David Smeal Jr. David Smeal Jr., a U.S. Navy Blue Angels throwback on that car for the night race here in Bristol. Lily Sharp and Hunter Peach in row 10. They're in your top 20. Mark Kissenweather, not a great qualifying effort for the Rookie of the Year. He's alongside Zach Apperson. Matt Vorndren filling in for Patrick Overstat. We talked about that at the start of the show. His teammate, Ross Baxter, to his outside in 24th. Eli Sasek and Josh Gaiman make up row number 13. That's 25th and 26th on the grid. Austin Mongold and Callie Height, they're in row 14. They are in 27th and 28th. Kyle Taub and Dustin Hall, they are row 15, 29th and 30th on the grid. Your last row is that of Bailey Thompson, who did not set a qualifying time. And that will conclude the starting grid here in Bristol. As we mentioned, 250 laps. Stage is on lap 50 and lap 125. No stage breaks to go with them. It is Soucy at the top of the running order going into this race. And as I mentioned before, we'll pull it up again here because it is so important. The standings as they run. Soucy in 5th. Almost 20 points behind, 17 points behind Swatsworth right now. If he wants to go 3 championships in a row, he's got some work to do. Green flag flies, and away we go for the BFL night race. Car in the fence already, that's Meredith. And lap 1 already in the books. Look at Hagan already trying to make his way forward. Car starting in pit lane. That was Hunter Peach serving his penalty from Atlanta last week. Car in the fence hard. Everyone trying to get around and get through. And I think so far everyone does. That was Josh Arnold that's in the fence hard and cautions out. Ross Baxter down the pit lane. Josh Arnold's had the tow coming down pit lane as well. He did not tow, but he's going to go a lap down early here. And everyone for a wild loop here. Let's see what happened to Josh Arnold to open up this race. It's with Henderson. This is exactly what happened. We'll take another look here. It actually starts pretty well ahead. Let's take a look here. It looks like it might have started with the 25 of Henderson up the road. ABN slow motion. As we get everything rolling. Yeah, he gets loose. Gets very loose. Gets tagged there by Wygen a little bit. Shoots Arnold up into the fence. Shoots Tyler Ratliff up into the fence. It looks like Henderson, for the most part, saves it. Then you see Josh Arnold just kind of stuck in against the wall with Ratliff there with him. Yeah, Arnold's got damage on the rear of the car, so he's having trouble getting rolling. And that's where the caution comes out. And that is day done for Josh Arnold as well. So we have our first official retirement after just 2 laps. Josh Arnold is officially done and dusted here in Bristol. And you hate to see that, especially for a championship contender like Josh Arnold. He came in 4th in points with a fight on his hands, and that is no longer the case. And that is unfortunate. Josh Schusse leads the way. John Hagan in 2nd. They will be on the front row for this restart. Remember, Meredith tagged the wall on the opening lap and lost that spot to Hagan. Swathworth in 4th. Mason Massey down 1 spot. He is still in the top 5, though, in that 15 car. Keep an eye on that chrome and green machine. Sorry, chrome, green, and orange. Pacey Wygen in 6th. Then it's Caitlin Height, Jeremy Braille, and Tucker Sawyer. Your top 9. Dean Clava rounds out the top 10 here as we get ready for our first restart of the night. And as we mentioned before, that pit window has already been pushed back 6 to 8 laps with this caution. So now from lap 40 to lap 146 to 148, green flag flies and away we go. Bit of a checkup there. That was with, I believe, Tucker Sawyer in 9th. Did not quite get the run he was looking for there. One rolling. Let's see what they can do here. Car in the fence a little bit. Ross Baxter is spun around on his own. We stay green at the moment, trying to get himself rolling again because the leaders are coming up quickly. Susie continues to lead. Hagan 2nd. Meredith still in the 3rd spot. Casey Wygen in 4th. Everyone drifting up the racetrack a little bit. Clean air is key. Run where they're not. That's what Wygen's trying to do right now. He is running up the lane, trying to diamond the corners. Goes to the racetrack and then cuts down and tries to get as much momentum as possible around this racetrack. It's not working so far. Still pinned in the 4th spot. Bottom lane is dominant here, typically in Bristol. You can see the dark residue on the top lane there. That is resin. Trying to make this track a little more appealing for multi-group racing. It just hasn't worked. Car in the fence. That was Hagan, who went up the racetrack, not through his own volition though. A little bit tight. Mason Massey in the 6th spot. We've got an onboard for him here. Right on board with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver as he sits in the 6th spot. This is his 3rd career start. We didn't update the stats beforehand. 3rd career start. Started this race in the top 5 in 4th. And right now sitting in that 6th position, shadowing your current championship leader in Chad Blockworth. Get around Blockworth here. Looking back to Caitlin Height. Winningest driver in HTL history. Height in 7th place, Braille in 8th, right behind in that gold and black 74. See, there goes Mason Massey around Chad Spotsworth. So that is now Massey back up into the top 5, Spotsworth in 6th. And caution has come out. And it is on the back. It's on the really in the turns 3 and 4, I believe, here. It is. Josh Gaiman's got a piece of it. But it looks like it starts with Matt Vorndren. Let's take a look here. Matt Vorndren in the 60. You see him on the far left side of your screen. 3 wide, that's Henderson and Kissenweather. Also in the mix. Does Henderson tag him? No, net code. Big time net code there for Vorndren. And he gets spun around. Henderson tries to avoid him. Kissenweather has nowhere to go. Davis Smith Jr. squeezes up against the wall, but gets tagged anyway. This gets ugly quick. Huge hit for Peach. That was by Dustin Hall. And we'll take another look at it here because it is an ugly one. That was Davis Smith Jr. that got a pretty decent hit to him. This is in full speed. Spun around. That's where Gaiman gets his damage off of Odie and Smeal. Callie Height squeaks through. And Smeal, he has not come down pit lane. He comes down pit lane now. So he's now officially down pit lane. A bit ugly there. We'll take another look here right on board with the Paula's Choice machine of Callie Height. Really squeaky there, squeaky there, squeaky there. Very close, but Callie Height gets away with no damage on that 88. And we'll restart closer to the top 20. So Josh Gaiman in the pit lane. Several cars still in the pit lane here. You have 25 cars, looks like, on the lead lap. Looks like we'll add some more to that as well. Second caution of the night, coming to our second restart of the night. It is Susie, Hagan, Wygent, Meredith, and Caitlin Height, your top 5. Mason Massey in 6th. A lot of the field coming down pit lane that time, all the way to, so 18th on down came down pit lane, and they've all got extensive time on pit lane, so repairs already for almost half the field. As I mentioned, everyone 17th on up has yet to come down pit lane. We'll see how it plays out here. Chaos early in Bristol. Green flag flies once again. Susie picked the outside lane. Very interesting choice for the 81. Inside lane, as we saw, was the strongest lane to be in. Susie expecting a dogfight here with Hagan, and he's getting one. But he gave Hagan the preferred lane on this restart. Here they go still. Trust start finish line. Hagan has led the last few laps on the go. Susie beginning to use an outside lane to try to push through, but he's getting tight. You'll see that tire we're beginning to bite immediately, and he's losing grip on the right front. Elijah up to third around Meredith. And Susie does clear. It pays off for the two-time defending champion. He gets back to the race lead and clears. Car coming up that they're about to put another lap down, I believe. If I would have to take a look here, let's see if we can zoom out the spotter stand. Really good look as the field goes around this half-mile bull ring. That is Josh Gaiman, who came out of pit lane late, and he's about to get put another lap down. Josh Gaiman on his 24th lap. He is 6 laps down right now. 30 cars still running in this race, though. Only retirement is Josh Arnold, who retired on lap 2. Everyone else still rolling. Kelly Knight trying to work her way forward. Restarted this race 21st, lost a couple spots early. Now working on Matt Borndren. You see Blake Henderson. His car once again a little bit wrinkled up. And trouble, big trouble. That is Sharp turned around. That is Markowski and Mongold involved as well. So what happened here for our second yellow of the night? This is Sharp, and it looks like Sharp might have had some help from Dean Clavitt. Maybe in slow motion. 100% Clavitt drove really deep into the corner. Tags the 19 of Sharp. Nowhere from the 83 of Markowski to go. Mongold stuck up the racetrack as well. See, Henderson almost got a piece of it. Got lucky. Richard Odie, not so lucky because Davis Meal closed the door on him there. Yeah, pretty decent hit there for Odie. So a little bit more work goes into these cars. Sharp stuck behind the pace car. We'll have to wait for the wave around. Very unfortunate there for the 19. Not coming down pit lane. Sharp will get back on the lead lap and will join the tail end of the field. 29th place for Sharp. Susie leads. He chose the outside lane on that last restart, and it worked. Despite the battle he had with Hagan, it did work out for him. Let's see how it pays off here. It'll be Meredith third on the inside lane, row 2. Caitlin Height in fourth, outside lane, row 2. Mason Massey, Tucker Sawyer, Jeremy Braille, Mark Kissenweather, Bryn Roberts, and Eli Sasek, your top 10 as things sit. And it is not easy here at Bristol. Susie does choose the outside lane once again. Oh, reliable. How long can you keep going to the well? Remember, this is the championship 8 in the final round, 3 races. So a win helps you in the points, but it doesn't guarantee you a spot to the next round. There's a lot more at stake here. Whoa! A little bit of contact between the 81 and the 97. This is going to be interesting. Not sure I like what I see there, but we'll see what happens here on this restart to start off lap 38. Remember, stage ends on lap 50. Stage 1 ends on lap 50, so everyone's battling for some really serious stage points. And whoa, trouble! Teammates in the fence. That was Susie and Height with wheel spin. And that gives Hagan the race lead immediately. Hagan in trouble. Hagan coming down pit lane. No, he's not coming down pit lane. Hagan had trouble. Both the leaders in trouble on this initial restart, this third restart of the race. It gives Susie the race lead back for a moment. Hagan drops all the way back down to the 7th spot. Susie holds on to the race lead. Caitlin Height trying to scramble for spots as well. What happened on that restart? Susie tagged the wall with wheel spin, and then Hagan gave up 6 spots, had the race lead in hand. Seemed like there was some sort of issue with the 97, and he drops all the way back down to 7th place. Swadsworth made his way back into the top 10. He is now around Bailey Thompson in 9th. This is wild stuff. Points leader going into this race in the 9th spot, has dropped spots early. Bailey Thompson started this race dead last. See further back, everyone trying to use different lanes, try to grab some clean air however you can find it. Swadsworth trying to get to the 74 Braille. Car tagging the fence, that was Kyle Taub. Reminder of the rule here in case we get it. A caution within the last 5 laps of a stage ends the stage early. So like if a caution comes out between now and lap 50, stage ends on that lap. Susie though, looking for the maximum stage points here. Remember, he was 17 points behind Swadsworth entering this race. He will gain 8 points on him if things hold. Hagan back up into 4th. He got around Mason Massey for the top, fourth place. Massey in 5th. He got around Sawyer, Sasek, and Braille to stay in the top 5. And they have put themselves on an island in this top 5 as they race forward. A little bit of trouble for Kyle Taub further back. He's got to the inside lane, but he is struggling. He has tagged the wall quite a few times since the restart. You can see the damage on that car, both on the right side and on the rear of the car. You're going to see a lot of that tonight. Starting lap 50. This is the white flag of stage 1. Remember, no stage break being called here. So it will be Susie that comes around under green and wins stage 1 and grabs those maximum stage points. He grabs 10 of them. Swadsworth grabs 2 to minimize the damage a little bit, but now the next stage isn't until lap 125. So a long time to come. Remember, green flag pit stops, if we get them, not expected now until lap 146 at the earliest. Really, with the 3 cautions we've had, we might not see pit stops at all until, at least for service, until about lap 160, lap 162. Hagan trying to find a way around Caitlin Height. Height being the impassable wall in 3rd place, car 3. Well, stats here. Caitlin Height has won here at Bristol, won here 2 seasons ago. Austin Mongold, a previous winner of the HTL National Series here in Thunder Valley when it ran with the Gen 6 Cup cars. Here comes Meredith battling for the race lead here. Got right to the bottom of Susie and moves him up the racetrack. Contact, and that is the 81 now in trouble. Meredith to the point, Hagan to 2nd, Susie to 3rd. And Susie will not be pleased by that. Mason Massey, the NASCAR veteran, getting up into 4th place around Caitlin Height. Caitlin Height, all of her resume, 17 wins, 10 pole positions. Would like to have a win in these last 2 races. She's in the top 5 right now. On her P, right at pit lane start penalty. On top of his points penalty, 50-point penalty from Atlanta. He is up into the 6th spot. top 5 has waltzed away, and it is Zach Meredith, the former champion from season 3, out in front right now. He has been very familiar with that. Last week being the anomaly, he has been in the top 10 every race since the playoffs began in Darlington. Atlanta being the only exception to that last week when he got caught up in a couple accidents late on in that race. Still looking to end a winless drought. Going back to that championship campaign, season 3, almost 3 years ago. Been a long time. Car coming up here trying to avoid going a lap down. I do believe that is Tyler Ratliff, 54. We pivot to him with our cameras. There he is. Lily Sharp just up the road as well. In the 27th position, Richard Odie ahead of her in 26th. Blake Henderson and his damage. Right now he's in the group. He is in 24th, getting around Alfred Denny. Dustin Hall, he is a lap down as well, having gotten issues earlier on in this race. However, Dustin Hall currently the first car lap down until Ratliff gets lapped. You see the damage on that 54. It is not a pleasant time if you are 54 of Ratliff. He is going to go up the racetrack, trying to let the 17 go through, and he does. So Meredith will put Ratliff a lap down. Josh Susie in third, a second and a half away from Meredith at the moment. The top 5 has spread out a little bit, as the running has now really gotten underway. Longest green flag run of the night so far. Trying to tuck away laps here. Can run up to 4 laps a minute here at Bristol. See the damage on Ratliff's car. It is still not great. Mason Massey gets around and clears Caitlin Height for the 4th spot. Trying now to chase down the 2-time defending champion, Josh Susie. Down the order, Bailey Thompson getting passed by Matt Thorndren. Matt Thorndren, the short track star from the ARCS circuit. Race winner in the ARCS High Octane Series. Championship contender in the ARCS High Octane Series. Got around Thompson for the 9th spot. Filling in Patrick Overstat. There is your 4 of Zach Apperson right now, also vowing to try to get into the top 10. With Kyle Taub in the mix as well. Eli Sasek shadowing in 13th. Callie Height has made her way up to the 14th spot, the 88 car, that Paula skincare machine. Doing a great job, looking for another top 10 run. We pull up Callie Height stats again, 7 top 10s, most recently in Las Vegas. Two top 5, both of those on a road course. Her 43rd start in her HTL Cup Series career. Pretty impressive so far in the 2nd stage of this race. Now Taub trying to find a way around Thompson, who's using the outside lane like a crutch. Trying to hang on to that top 10. A little bit of contact there between Taub and Thompson. Taub going to try to use it to get clear, and does. Taub up to 10th. Up and parks the bus in front of the 27 and gets to the outside lane. So we got some cars preferring the outside lane. Those at the front not doing so. They prefer the inside lane. Sharp a lap down officially. The 19 car going down a lap with damage on the nose of that Toyota. Same with Richard Odie. Austin Mongold also a lap down. Meredith has worked his way around Blake Henderson as well in 24th. And Chad Swatsworth, who is struggling right now after winning in Atlanta. This is not the kind of race he needed try to go for a championship. He's got damage on that right side, so he's tagged the wall a couple times. And he's going to get lapped. That is almost a death sentence here at Bristol. You're trying to go on and win races. Alfred Denny next to go a lap down. Meredith is on a charge, putting bodies between him and John Hagan. Remember, Meredith not in the championship conversation. He is battling mostly for spoils at this point. He wants to end a winless drought. This is the kind of race John Hagan needed, though. After a very disappointing run in Atlanta last week. We are 80 laps completed here. We're on lap 81 now. David Smith Jr. about to go a lap down as well. Denny fighting for his life. Number 31 involved in an incident earlier. Same with Dale Markowski just up the road. And Zach Meredith has been very good in the lap traffic so far in this race. We're in the outside lane, running the inside lane. He's able to put that 17 car wherever he wants it to be right now. Massey has had a bit of a struggle here in that 17 machine. A little bit of damage, it looks like on the left side, so not the side facing the wall. So he's had a little bit of struggle here. See the damage on that left side. Compared to the right side, the panels aren't as flush, aren't as level. So he's gotten into somebody. In that battle with Caitlin Height and Josh Susi. Car at the bottom of the racetrack, Richard Odie staying on the apron and out of the way. Obviously he is struggling. Now in pit lane, he will give up spots here to Justin Hall, Tyler Ratliff, and others. So Massey getting passed by Apperson moves him out of the top 10. You see the damage though on the nose of that car. It looks a little bit more consistent. A little bumpy there for the 15 through turns 3 and 4. See the like the death rattle almost. Not a great look. Huge gaggle of cars around John Hagan, who is second place in this race. He's the only one in this picture, though, in this group that is on the lead lap. Everyone else is a little bit further down the order, including Jeremy Braille, who's struggling as well in that 74 machine. You see the damage on the nose of that Camaro. Not a great look so far. Markowski in trouble as well. And the more that these drivers all fight, because they're also battling for position, the worse it is going to be for the 97 of Hagan. He is trying to get around all these cars. And it is not an easy look. Zach Meredith's making it look easy, though. He is already 3.5 seconds up the road. Bren Roberts and Dean Clavitt next on his radar. He has put Ross Baxter in the rearview mirror as well as Tucker Sawyer. He's trying to be patient here with Roberts and Clavitt. They're in their own little battle here. Choosing the inside lane to try to make his passes work. Not clear yet of Bren Roberts, but almost. And he will drive Roberts up the racetrack enough to get clear. But another body between himself and John Hagan. Hagan, a little bit of clean real estate, will close in to less than 3 seconds, getting around the 95 of Sawyer. Sawyer doesn't make it too awful difficult for him. Swansworth came down pit lane. See him there in the background. Came down pit lane, got some repairs, some fresh tires. So tire wear might be a factor here for some drivers on this concrete track. Concrete tracks typically eat tires up a little bit harder. They're a more grainy surface, so they will, it's almost like putting these tires on sandpaper at times. And you'll see that on occasion. You see it at Dover, you see it at Nashville as well. The other major concrete tracks. Meredith looking outstanding. He's actually approaching Mason Massey right now, who's in 14th place, having been passed by Callie Height. Mason Massey trying to hold on because he knows if he can avoid making an early pit stop, or really if he can get to the next couple laps and make that pit stop early, then he'll be good to go for the rest of the race. The window really opens this lap and goes all the way through the rest of the race. And when you make that critical pit stop, that everyone's got to make it. If you pit early, if you pit before now, you've still got a pit stop to make. Because again, we saw the numbers, 140 to 150 on the fuel mileage number. If you're going to try to go by the fuel mileage and just use that one-stop strategy, that's how you got to do it. Caution's out. Callie Height stays on the lead lap. Gets lucky there. As cars came down pit lane, that was Vorndren and Peach. And they were not coming down pit lane. They were involved in the accident. So fourth caution gets us past the lap 100 mark, and we might see everyone come down pit lane here. Let's see what happened. And the accident has already taken place. This is on the front straightaway. And we'll take a look back here at this gaggle of cars. This was where Caitlin Height and Josh Susi were at, 3rd and 4th place on the racetrack. AB in slow motion. See if we can get a better look here from our spotter's eye camera up the racetrack, right above the broadcast booth in the media center up here in Bristol. 3 wide, Denny in the middle. Swatsworth in the 18 goes up to the wall. Casey Wygent there, the 96 car in 5th at the time of this caution. Denny checks out of it. He sees what's coming. At least he tries to. Swatsworth looks like he might have bounced off of Susi's car or just drifted up tight because he's had issues this race already. Susi was on the bottom of the racetrack, so I don't think there's a lot that Susi could have done here. Swatsworth a little loose because he's got damage again. Peach gets him, and Vorndren arrives to the party late, and the party was shut down at that point. So Peach, his bad day, his bad championship 8 gets a little worse, as it does for Swatsworth, whose race goes for an even bigger tumble. And you see Jeremy Braille tries to get clear. Ooh, no, he does not. And he takes a bit of a ride, 2 wheels off the ground in that 74 machine. Taub hits the wall for evasive action, and everyone tries to scramble after that. That's rough. We saw Hunter Peach had to go to pit lane. His race officially over, as it is for Jeremy Braille. So a couple more retirements in the conversation, as Meredith and Hagan get ready to bring us to our 4th restart of the night. We'll end lap 105 and begin lap 106. Lights out on that pace car, which means we're going green at the end of this lap. They'll take the hard left onto pit lane. It is Meredith, Hagan, Susi, and Height, your top 4. Wygent, top 5. And the green flag flies. Once again, your free pass was that of Dustin Hall. That's Swatsworth coming back out on the racetrack with more repair work done on that 18 car. As Hagan gets the lead and Meredith trying to get back around. Hagan gets the lead and will try to confidently lead for the first time. Caution's out again, and it is a little bit further back here. It is a pretty massive cars. Yep, massive cars here. Smeal involved in this one. Looks like Bailey Thompson got a huge chunk of it. And indeed, Thompson did get a chunk of it. So 5th caution of the night on lap 108. And here's a full speed look. This is Thompson turning Alfred Denny. And look at the massive cars there. Sawyer, Mongold, Markowski, Taub, Sharp, all of them involved in that one, as well as Thompson and Denny. That's going to be awkward with Denny and Thompson being in the same partnership between Tombstone and Unforgiven Motorsports. Again, we'll take a look here. See if we've got our good old chopper cam to get a decent look. This might just be Thompson turning Denny. AB in slow motion. Yeah, Thompson just drifts at the racetrack and tags the 21. That's not great for Thompson. Mongo gets a huge piece of it. Feast or famine for Bristol continues for Mongol. John Hagan leading the way. Austin Mongol trying to get his lap back here. Or trying to get a lap back. I don't think Mongol's on the lead lap. He is not. He is 22nd. Rough times here in Bristol. And you're seeing it. Hagan, Meredith, Susie, Height, Kissenweather, Wygent, Sasek, Apperson, Flavin, and Callie Height. So both Caitlin and Callie in the top 10 here. Callie got the free pass that last go around, went a lap down earlier. Gets her lap back here. Talia will drop to the back of the field, getting the free pass, but will be 12th place on the lead lap. Billy Thompson, first car a lap down. And it's Henderson, Sawyer, Spiel, Markowski, Baxter, Taub, and Denny all a lap down. Same with Mason Massey and Austin Mongo, all a lap down. Sharp 2 laps down, Gaiman 5 laps down. Chad Swansworth also down the pace here, 6 laps down for Swansworth. At 400's race comes to a close on lap 102. Richard Odie still rolling as well. Green flag flies and away we go. Remember, lap 125 in stage 2. Pretty good start for John Hagan. Gets himself to the front and gets himself clear of the melee. And I think we might have another caution coming up here. Yes, we do. Huge hit. Gaiman and Henderson. Dustin Hall got spun. Huge hit. Alfred Denny with trouble as well. What happened here? Take a look. This is going all the way back to the restart here. Didn't take long for things to get haywire. This is near the back of the field as well. Looks like this starts up the road a little bit. It does. It starts with Hall and Henderson. So we were focusing on the wrong group there. They were kind of just the ones that arrived on the scene. And it's Dustin Hall that gets loose. You see the one car right there on your screen, loose in the middle of the corners here. Henderson smacks the wall hard. That is through turns 1 and 2 here. Huge hit there, and more insult to injury for all of these cars involved here. They've all been involved in multiple incidents at this point in this race for a 6th yellow of the night. Hagan leads over Josh Susie. Caitlin Height 3rd, Zach Meredith in 4th. Top 5 as we come across to complete lap 117. It is Hagan, Susie, Caitlin Height, Zach Meredith, Casey Wygent in the top 5. 12 of Mark Kissenweather in 6th, Eli Sassick 7th, Zach Apperson in 8th, 9th Dean Clavitt, 10th Callie Height. Bailey Thompson was the free pass recipient. We'll start this race in 12th. And so we get ready to go back racing. Dustin Hall was on the lead lap, no longer the case here. And both of them on pit lane. Green flag flies and away we go, back underway, 6th restart of the night. Out to a pretty resounding lead at the front of the field. Susie under a hornet's nest here. Wygen to the outside, Height to the inside. Wygen has to back out of it. Caitlin Height looking for second place. Not really worried about the championship conversation for Josh Susie. Kissenweather tags the wall pretty hard at a turn 4 that time. Wygen looking for second place now. He got clear of Height. A lot more people tagging the wall here. And you look at all the damaged race cars at this point, it is not a surprise. Kissenweather, though, using that damaged race car as a battering ram to get through the top 10. Knocking down that wall and brute forcing his way through to make passes happen. He's someone who's been very frustrated in these, really in the entire playoffs. Missed the championship 8, had a very abysmal round of 16 where he failed to finish 4 of the 5 races. Feels very hard scorned in that number 12 machine. Especially when he entered as the number 3 car in the round of 16 to begin with. Sank like a rock. Hagan leads the way by over a second. It has settled down a little bit behind him with Susie in second, Wygen in third. Mark Kissenweather fourth, Caitlin Height in fifth. We have 12 cars on the lead lap. Bailey Thompson, the last car on the lead lap. Caution is out. The caution has come out, I believe. If we take a look, actually not entirely sure who it was for, unless it was for Alfred Denny. We'll take a look here. See who it was that had the issue. Was it Alfred Denny? Yes, it was. Spun off the nose of Callie Height. Denny's having a very bad day. He got spun off the nose by his teammate Bailey Thompson. He's been collected in accidents. He's been spun by Callie Height now. The Milwaukee native is not having a very fun time. That answers that. Luckily, no significant damage on the 21 this go around. For our 7th caution of the night, we'll see most of the field come down pit lane. Hagan stays out, as does Susie, Kissenweather, Apperson, Dean Clavitt, and Callie Height will move up into the top 6. So 7th restart coming up here. We'll step aside for a quick moment to collect ourselves as we have crossed the halfway point here in Bristol for the BFL night race. More racing to come here in Thunder Valley right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the BFL night race. 250 laps in this race. We have completed 129 of them. As we ready to go back racing right on board, looking at from the back of John Hagan's 97 car. Team Conte's in Performance have had their hands full. If you've been racing in the Cup Series or if any of the stock car series, then you probably have too. QR code will help you get everything straight away here. Setups, telemetry, coaching, and more. And the official setup provider of the HTL Cup Series all season long, including tonight. And your race leading John Hagan uses them outside of HTL as well, as he tries to go for a championship here. Green flag flies, and away we go. 7th restart of the night. Battle between Susie and Kissenweather. Car in the fence. That was a huge hit. And that's going to be an immediate yellow. Taub spun around. I believe, I'm not sure if it was swapped with it or not, but I got spun. It was one of the darker colored cars, one of the black and white machines that got sent straight into the outside wall. It wasn't Kissenweather. He's in 3rd. We'll have to take a huge look at this one. Car got shot straight to the safe barrier on the outside wall. Davis Mill Jr. still having trouble moving. We'll see if we can figure out who it was that got put in the fence there. If it wasn't either of these two, they were already on pit lane before this caution came out. They had been stuck in pit lane for a little bit. Was it Shad Swap? No, it was Caitlin Height. It was a 3 of Caitlin Height. That's the black and white car we saw. Oh, dear. So what happened to Caitlin Height? We'll go back to the full restart here and grab a look. As Caitlin Height gets sent for a wild ride. Latency there for Caitlin Height as well. A lot of latency for Caitlin Height. This might be a part of it. Whoa, no. That's so sketchy. That is. Yeah. That is interesting to say the least. I think we have an internal cam we do for Eli Stasek. This is on board with the 9 car. Very interesting, all of that. Obviously, we will let HTL officials be the judge of that. Nothing happened between the incident with Sasek and Caitlin Height at Atlanta last Monday. Those two have had a long history in the HTL Cup Series, dating back to season 3 in Fontana when Sasek wrecked Height at the championship. Caitlin Height turned the 9 of Sasek at Atlanta. HTL officials did not move on that then. And could be some desserts being served up there as we go racing for the 8th restart of the night. With Hagan and Susie once again out front. Some interesting conversations coming. Probably after tonight. The HTL Cup Series officials will have their hands full. It is Hagan, Susie, Kissenweather, Wise in your top 4. Apperson up to 5th. Keep an eye on that 4 car, being very sneaky and being very efficient in that 4 car. In a race of attrition, he has done a really good job, and he typically does in these types of situations. If he's not collected in the incidents, he typically gets to have a really good day, and he gets to have a good day here. It's going to be a bad day for another driver, though, And it is Josh Carmen who is spun around backwards. And we immediately get to our 9th caution. And this is not off of anybody. This is just a damaged car getting loose and sliding and coming to a stop in a dangerous location. I think this is about the time that Josh Carmen picks a different paint. He is going through enough death matches as it is. He is in the 19th place. Well off the lead lap by 5 laps. I believe he's trying to let the lead lap cars go through here. John Hagen won stage 2, Josh Susi won stage 1. They're both going to have a field day because Shad Spotsworth is right now down in the 20th position, 6 laps down. David Smeal Jr.'s had a rough day. He's in 17th on pit lane as things sit. Josh Arnold is out of this race, was out of this race after just 2 laps. And it has been ugly. Tucker Sawyer 8 laps down. Braille is out of this race. Hunter Peach is out of this race. As it was in Atlanta, it is here. The championship 8 drivers are in a lot of trouble. And it's who survives the best that gets away with it. Hagen and Susi were not 2 of those drivers that got away with it in Atlanta a week ago. It may come back around for them as the pendulum swings here in Bristol. They're the only 2 in the top 10, the only 2 remotely close to being in the top 10 as things sit. Shad Spotsworth, for all of his troubles, is still the 3rd best playoff driver as things sit right now. Sorry, no, Davis Smeal Jr. is in 17th. Spotsworth in 20th is 4th. So Spotsworth, at worst, Spotsworth's going to be 3rd in points at the end of the night. That is the lowest he can fall right now, which is wild, to say the least. He could drop to 4th. He could. If Davis Smeal has more trouble, then that would not be a factor. Right now, it's not a factor because Davis Smeal Jr. has not scored stage points. Spotsworth has. So the 4-point gap going into tonight between those 2 is maintained with where they're at. 9th restart of the night, lap 145 underway here in the BFL night race. It is Hagen, Susi, Kissenweather, Wygent, Apperson, your top 5. Once again, Meredith in 6th. He led a lot of the opening stanza of this race. He's trying to get back to the front. He's got to work through the 4 of Apperson, no. Callie Height now in 7th place. Bryn Roberts in 8th. Dean Clavitt 9th. Alfred Denny in 10th. That is where they're at right now in your top 10 conversation. 12 cars on the lead lap down the Ross Baxter in 12th. Bailey Thompson in 11th place. Nine cautions in this race so far has really slowed the pace down. We had a good run, about 50 laps of green flag racing in stage 2. Trying to get back to it here. Remember, Hagen and Susi both did not have a great time in Atlanta. Susi and Hagen have split the stages. So it's not really been very helpful for Susi, all things considered. He's gained a handful of points because he had a better stage 2 finish than Hagen had stage 1. But every point counts right now, and you need more going into Kentucky next Monday. Less than 100 laps to go. When we cross the line, 99 laps to go for John Hagen. And we'll kind of show you a little bit of how interesting this race has been. Front of the field isn't super surprising. Hagen qualified 3rd, Susi on pole position. Mark Kissenweather, the 21st in qualifying. He has made his way up to 3rd. Pacey Wygent started 7th. Zach Apperson was on the same row as Kissenweather to start this race. They were in row 11. They were both in the top 10. Callie Height from 28th to 9th, 19 spots gained so far. She is your biggest mover in this race. Alfredini in 10th. Attrition-filled race so far today, and the laps since they last made a pit stop. Hagen and Susie have not come down pit lane since about lap 103. Same with Kissenweather and Apperson. They both came down. They all came down at lap 103. Whiten's come down a little bit more recently, lap 128. Same goes for Zach Meredith and Bryn Roberts. Deke Lavick came down pit lane on lap 134. Bailey Thompson came down pit lane on lap 142. All of these drivers should be good to go on fuel to the end of the race. Whether your tires last long enough to get to that point, different conversation. But fuel-wise, you're good to go. And everyone in this field, minus Richard Odie, is good to go. Odie last made a pit stop on lap 85, but he is also pretty well down the pace as far as being on the lead lap. So 31 of Davis Moon Jr. about to go another lap down. The list of retirements is getting longer. It is Josh Arnold, Tyler Ratliff, Jeremy Braille, Hunter Peach, Matt Warndren, Blake Henderson, Mason Massey, Tucker Sawyer, and Caitlin Height all out. We are down to 22 cars running on the racetrack as things sit. Out of the 31 that started, we have lost 9. .90 laps to go. And it is Hagen clear in a way. We've not seen him pull this kind of gap in a little bit. He's had a very rough playoffs since Darlington, and he wasn't dominant in Darlington to kick off the playoffs either. It was very shaky for the 97 crate camp going through the playoffs without that race win. He's grabbed it, and he's trying now to grab what would be his 7th win of the season, which would tie the guy behind him, Josh Susie, who has the record for the most wins in a single season at 7. Hagen has 6 wins so far, 7 in his career. We'll pull up his career stats, 7 wins for John Hagen. His first win came at season 4 at Chicagoland. He's won 6 times this season, most recently Southern 500 at Darlington last month. His 45th start tonight, looking for race win number 8. Billy Sharp in pit lane. And caution's out. 10th time, and you see why. That was Dale Markowski. We're about to pivot to him, and he pops up without even being asked. And Markowski toes. And it looks like Callie Height might have had a piece of this, so let's take a look. This is Markowski. No, it's actually Callie Height ahead of Mongol. Markowski and Josh Gaiman. So what happened to Callie Height? She was in the top 10, and she might have lost it on her own. Let's see. This is 3, 3, and 4. For Callie Height in traffic. No, got hip checked by the 38 of Ross Baxter. Stops up near the fence, but unsighted. And that is a completely damaged race car in Callie Height's night, and her chance of getting a top 10 are over. Now Markowski's night is officially done. He's at a retirement here. What this does do is, I believe this does give Eli Sassick a lap back, if I'm not mistaken. He is back. He might actually, sorry, he's still a lap down. I think he got one of those laps back. Sasek 1 lap down. He is in 13th. Bailey Thompson and Kyle Taub on the lead lap, 11th and 12th. Kyle Taub was a free pass. My apologies. Austin Long was the only other car a lap down here. And then you start looking at cars 3 laps down and more. I mean, take 80 laps to go under caution here. It is Hagan, Apperson, Wygant, Susie, Roberts. And a lot of these cars came down pit lane here. Hagan and Apperson have not pit since lap 102. Wygant, Susie, and everyone behind them just came down pit lane here on lap 167. So there has been a move for fresh tires to see if this works. It does put Hagan on the front row, Apperson in second alongside. Green flag flies and away we go. And Wygant got around Apperson, no problem. It does hold up Josh Susie though, who is stuck behind Apperson. And Apperson will be dispatched. I think the fresh tires might have been a pretty good call. We'll see if Wygant can chase down and pass John Hagan. Car spinning further down the order, and that is Kyle Taub. Thought it was Kyle Taub, it is Kyle Taub, Caitlin Height. Ooh, hard hit for them. And that is Lily Sharp, once again stuck behind the pace car. 11th caution of the night. And it happens immediately. Let's take a look full speed at what happens here. Kyle Taub was the free pass recipient, and we'll immediately go back to being a lap down. See Dustin Hall trying to stay out of the way. He's the 1 car. Don't believe this starts with... I don't believe this starts with Kyle Taub. I think this starts a little bit further up the road. It does start the road. It starts with Shannon Swathworth. And, ooh. Oh, Swathworth gets loose and Caitlin Height gets into him. Okay, that makes sense. Full speed here. Swathworth tags the wall, breaks loose afterwards. Caitlin Height spins him around, gets flipped for it. Instant karma there. Davis Smith Jr. gets a piece of it. Dustin Hall gets safely through. Eli Sasek gets his lap back. Apperson is yet to come down pit lane despite losing spots on the restart there. We're approaching our 11th restart of this race as everything continues to go forward. Step aside for a quick hydration break. We're approaching the last 75 laps here in Bristol. Less than 75 laps to go, 74 when we go back racing for our 11th restart of the night. It is John Hagan and Pacey Wygant at the front of the field. Josh Susie, Zach Apperson, row 2. Bryn Roberts and Alfred Denny in row 3 as we get ready to go back racing. 74 laps to go in the BFL night race. And the green flag flies here at Bristol once again. Hagan gets off to a pretty good launch. Apperson got a better launch on the outside lane that time. Did not completely get skunked by Susie or by Wygant there, and actually holds on and actually battles with Susie for that 3rd spot. Good run for Apperson here. Older tires. will fire up to temperature quicker than those on the 96 and the 81. And Apperson outside lane is really giving a lot of grief to the 81 of Josh Soucy, who is not getting the preferred line that he wants with that forward to his outside. He gets clear that time. So you have to drive it a little bit harder there. But he does get through, and now it's Bryn Roberts who has to deal with that struggle. Some other in 7th behind Alfred Denny. Zach Meredith in 8th. You've been top 10 all race. Bailey Thompson up to 9th, trying to survive in the 27, getting pushed by Dean Clavitt in 10th. Ross Baxter gave Clavitt a shove. Ross Baxter comes in with 2 top 10s this season, looking for his 3rd. He's got 12 cars on the lead lap, so he's only got to deal with a couple cars to get to the top 10. Easier said than done so far. Kyle Taub off the lead lap once again. He is a lap down, the first car lap down, if he can stay that way. Caitlin Heights' day is officially done. No, it's not. Caitlin Heights still rolling in the 3 car. But realistically done, 38 laps down as things sit. Everyone fighting here. This is Apperson still fighting, this time with Meredith, the Zach and Zach show for the top 6. And it is Meredith that gets clear and moves forward. Kissenweather in the 5th spot right now, next on the radar for the 17th. Bailey Thompson making some inroads. Got that car completely cleaned up, it looks like, in the 27. And now using that clean car to move forward through the field up to the 8th spot, looking at Apperson for 7th. Thompson will make pretty easy work of that. The 65 lap difference in tires not helping Apperson at all. Clean Air, the equalizer though at the front. John Hagan with the same deficit, 65 laps, to Pacey Wygent on tires. But the Clean Air is key here right now for John Hagan. He is still in the race lead by 4/10 over Wygent and by 8/10 over Soucy. Even spacing between the top 3 right now. Bryn Roberts in 4th. He has been very quiet in this race so far. He's not been involved in anything significant, the 8 car. He is just minding his P's and Q's right now and doing a good job of it as we approach 61 laps to go in Thunder Valley. Wygent trying to close in here. The longer this run goes, the better it is going to be for Wygent here, as Hagan's grip will fall away further and further. As we mentioned before, the pit window on fuel was about 150 laps under green. But as we mentioned earlier as well, the concrete surface here at Bristol, like with Dover and like with Nashville, will grind these tires down. It's like putting these tires on sandpaper and then asking them to go about 140 miles an hour for an hour plus. Typically doesn't bode well. Wygent gets a little loose there though. Got really close to the bumper of Hagan, and the air disturbance shifted around the 96. Toyota's 1st and 2nd, 3rd place for Soucy and his Chevrolet. Chevrolet's 3rd and 4th. Your best Ford is in 6th, that of Meredith. Thompson in 7th as well. Clavitt in 9th, Apperson 10th. So 4 Fords in the top 10. What is, for the manufacturer, one of their best runs of the season. Typically, they've not had more than 3 Fords in the top 10 at all. Just a couple seasons ago, Ford was the preferred manufacturer. It has been anything but this season, and Toyota has had the manufacturer's title pretty well locked up, locked in key. John Hagan in the race lead here, back to about 4/10. Soucy dropping back a little bit. Now 2nd away from the race leader. As the laps continue to tick down. About 50 laps to go here. Talked with John Hagan, he was concerned with how the playoffs have been going. His win at Darlington was nullified, not in terms of if its importance. It got him into the championship 8 immediately, but because of everything that came afterwards with Hagan, all the accidents, the pit lane penalty at Watkins Glen that put him a lap down, the accidents at Las Vegas, the accidents even as most recent as last Monday in Atlanta. He was genuinely concerned about whether or not he would have an opportunity to actually go for this championship, or if the bad luck would continue. There was a huge concern there for Hagan and the Ascent Racing camp on how these last 2 races would go. Remember, Wygent, part of the satellite team, Joe Show Racing. Not sure he's going to fight too awful hard in that 96 car. Joe Show Racing acquiring the charter that did belong to Arrowhead Racing earlier this season. Keeping that 96 around. They've got the 95 as well with Sawyer, who is in 20th place, 28 laps down, but circulating as things sit. Less than 50 laps to go. Susie now about a second and a half behind. And it is a 2-car fight right now between the 2 Toyotas front and center, Ascent versus Joe Show. As things stand right now, 47 laps to go. Kissenweather in 4th. This is where you start to see a little bit more of the challenge for John Hagan. It's going to be his teammate Eli Sasek, so it won't be too awful difficult there. But not every lap car is going to be your teammate. Sasek going to help out Hagan and Wygent there and help them get clear. They didn't need a lot of help doing that. They've pulled away from Susie and Kissenweather just fine. But now they've got that brace. And you will see the team dynamic. Sasek will not move out of the way for the 81 of Susie. That is a guarantee. Lap traffic will be a giant challenge for Hagan. He has had the advantage over Wygent despite the 65 lap tire difference because of the clean air. Once that clean air goes away and gets stripped away, what does Hagan have left in those Goodyear tires to get him through these next 42 laps, coming to 41 to go? And it is a little bit of a competition here further down the order as Sasek does try to get around Eli Sasek. It's allowed Zach Meredith to get not only around Kissenweather, but also pull up to the 81 and try to challenge for that 3rd spot and try to play spoiler with Josh Susie. Where Josh Susie came in and started winning championships left, right, and center, Zach Meredith was the last champion back in season 3. Grabbed his 2 race wins and grabbed that championship to boot. Susie came in as a driver in season 4. He was race control in season 3. And whoa, watch out, Meredith! Caution's gonna come out for the 12th time. There it is. And almost horrible what happened there. They get lucky. Meredith gets himself rolling again and avoids going a lap down. But the 12 caution resets things pretty big. You saw it happen in real time. That was just Meredith getting loose at a turn 2. And the car coming to a spinning stop. And this will be the time that John Hagan comes down pit lane. Does he get followed to pit lane? Not by Wygent, but by others. Susie comes down pit lane as well. Brendan Roberts, Martin Kissenweather come down pit lane. Ross Baxter stays out. Bailey Thompson stays out. Meredith comes in. Denny comes in. Let's see if Apperson comes in. He should come in here, the 4. And Apperson does come down pit lane. The only one that does not is Wygent. Baxter and Thompson come down pit lane this time by. So they do eventually make their way down to the pit lane. I do believe this might put the lead lap back in their hands, if I'm not mistaken. I'll try to read the times here. Either Austin Mongold or Kyle Tao, which might give us 14 cars on the lead lap. No, it does not. Who got the free pass? Sasek? Oh, it might have. I'm not sure. Oh, it was Sasek. It was Sasek because he went 2 laps down on that green flag run. He went 2 laps down to Hagen and to Wygen. So he gets one of those laps back. So now he's back to being 1 lap down. That still doesn't make a ton of sense. Because Taub and Mungo were also just 1 lap down. Apperson goes a lap down too. Not good for the 4 of Apperson. He goes a lap down. I think he put on the wrong sequence there. A little bit of chaos here at Bristol. Typically at Bristol, everyone runs, it's double-sided pit lanes because you only can fit so many cars on each side. Typically, it's a single pit lane, so you come off of turn 2 to pit lane and you wrap all the way around to the front straightaway to complete the pit cycle. Not tonight, though. For the first time in a while, they decided that they were going to use the separate pit lane strategy, so you just pit on whatever side your pit lane is on, instead of everyone having to drive around like it's a single pit lane like normal. And I think that's caught some drivers out because Apperson went a lap down. He was on the lead lap before that caution and it caught him out. Green flag flies and here comes Wygen. Now on the oldest tires in the field to see if he can do what Hagen did earlier on. Hagen's got some fresh tires. He's trying to use them in a big way. Wygen trying to keep the door shut for Hagen. He's got to make him drive the long way around is what he has to do. You do not want to give him a preferred lane at all. I don't know if giving him the inside lane is the right lane to give him here. Hagen again has the fresher tires and Pacey Wygen just doesn't have it. Again, Pacey doing what he thought he needed to try to lead this race and try to get the race win. You gave Hagen, who has now a 40-lap advantage on the tires, you gave him the lane that everyone's preferred on fresh tires. Susie says, nah, I'm not waiting this time. Moves the 96 out of the way. Because Susie knows his best chance at getting to a 3rd championship in a row is beating the 97 on the racetrack. And Wygen's struggling. He's going to get passed by Kissenweather. He's going to get passed by Meredith here. They're going to go 3 wide almost. Caution's out with 30 laps to go. And this is Tucker Sawyer that goes around. He's got some damage on the nose of that 95 car. So let's take a look at what happened to good old Tucker Sawyer. This is not Sawyer. That is actually the 12 of Kissenweather, who was not involved in that yellow at all. So we'll take a look. Here we go. And oh, a little bit of contact here. Could be with Mongold, and it looks like it is. 3 wide. Mongold up the racetrack a little bit. 3 wide situation there. Sawyer trying to give space to Josh Gaiman and pays for it dearly, and that is going to probably be race over for the 95 and the 19 involved in that as well. So that's going to be rough. He's still on the racetrack right now. That is Sawyer in real time. Right now running in the 19th position. But he is still on lap 194 right now, whereas the lead car is on lap 223. So if that gives you any indication as to how far back in the order Tucker Sawyer is right now, 29 laps down. John Hagen, Josh Susie will be at the front of the field. Wygen comes down pit lane here, realizing I think the error of his ways. And now the field will be a lot closer on the tire wear spread than what we've seen really of the last 100 laps. We'll be going green, I believe, if my math serves me correct, with 25 laps to go here in Bristol. It is Hagen. It will be Susie on the front row. Kissenweather, Meredith, Roberts, Clavitt, Baxter, Thompson, Denny, Wygant, and Taub on the lead lap. Taub got your free pass. As we get ready to go back racing with 25 laps to go, as I assumed before, we are correct on that. Eli Sasek, first car a lap down, battling for the free pass for the next caution, if we get one, with Zach Apperson and Austin Mongol. Chad Swasworth, 6 laps down, up to 15th place. He is going to be trying, really, he's already secured that he's going to be third going into Fontana no matter what. Davis Mill Jr., 41 laps down, now outside the top 20. So Swasworth's going to be an outside shot. Green flag flies, and away we go. Swasworth now looking towards Kentucky next Monday to try to do something to become a champion for the first time. Kissenweather not going to give any quarter to Susie as Susie tries to battle for a championship. Look at Bryn Roberts. He's in the mix. He's in fourth. Cars in the fence. You see a lot of the dust flying up the racetrack. Roberts trying to drive around the 8, or trying to drive around the 12 in that number 8 Chevrolet. And does so. And so will Meredith. Kissenweather losing 2 spots in one go. He will drop to 5th. Hagan and Susie, 1-2. Roberts in 3rd. Roberts in the Owners' Championship. He's not marked in gold. Kissenweather goes for a spin. And the caution's out once again for Kissenweather. We saw him lose grip there and lose spots because of it. He loses again, and he loses out pretty big. He drops to 11th, last car on the lead lap. Eli Sasek will get the free pass and get back on the lead lap in 12th. Kissenweather will take a look here, but we kind of saw it in full time as he came out of the corner a little high, loses grip right on the exit as it unloads. Does he avoid the wall? Almost. Very close. But not quite. He's down pit lane now. John Hagan leads the way here in Bristol. Over Josh Susie. Bryn Roberts in 3rd. Zach Meredith in 4th. Dean Clavitt in your top 5 as things sit. Less than 20 laps to go here in Thunder Valley. 19 to go right now. We'll be going green with 18 to go. Sorry, we'll be going with 17 to go. We got 18 to go coming up. We'll go 1 to green. And then we'll go racing. See what we can do here. We'll step aside for a moment. Not a whole lot going on the racetrack under this caution. 12 cars on the lead lap with the addition of Eli Sasek. So we'll step aside for a quick 30-second break and come back with more racing here to come from Bristol. Welcome back, everyone, to the BFL night race here in Bristol. Less than 20 laps to go. And it's one of the Team Conti's big users, John Hagan, trying to close off and get his 7th win of the season. Green flag flies, and away we go. Hagan gets off to a rocket start. There it goes. Susie around. Off the nose of Meredith. Trouble. Susie gets spun and wrecked in a big way. Sasek involved, Apperson involved, Swasworth in trouble. Swasworth toes. And that was what Susie did not need. Wygant got a piece of that as well. Oh no. And this is a look from the restart. We'll play it in slow motion because this happens pretty quick. We'll actually speed it up here through the initial start because it happens on the back straightaway. We'll slow it down here. Susie, he just gets loose on his own. Meredith nowhere to go. Pushes Susie forward. Clavitt gets through. Wygant tries avoiding it and snaps because the unload, how sharp that unload is, trying to change lanes there. He was trying to avoid it and couldn't. Swasser tries locking it up to avoid being involved again. Apperson gets turned by Odie. Sasek spins on his own. Oof. That is not going to sit well. A lot of people are going to be really upset. Less than 15 laps to go, 14 to go now. That is, unfortunately, that is not a, you can't attribute that to anybody. That is just Susie getting loose on colder tires on the outside lane. The way this track unloads is rough. Obviously, when you're that far in front and everyone's getting up to speed, all the reaction times are slow because everyone's focusing on either the cold tires, listening to their spotter, or just trying to avoid wrecking themselves. Meredith didn't have hardly any time to react to that either. I know that he didn't. I'm pretty sure Meredith did not want to be involved in that because he had a really good car going into tonight, or going into the stands of the race too. He was looking strong. And now it's a pretty interesting top five. Hagan, Roberts, Clavitt, Thompson, Denny, Baxter, your top six. Kissenweather, Wygant, Taub, Sasek, Susie, Meredith, and now Austin Mongold on the lead lap. Apperson 2 laps down. His chance of getting on the lead lap to challenge for a potential top 10 pretty well out the window here. Sparks fly, the tempers flare when the lights come on in Bristol. It is Hagan and Bren Roberts front of the field. 2 drivers that have been pretty electric once the playoffs started. Single file for them. Meredith in the fence. He still got damage from before. But we stay green. 11 laps to go. Daley Thompson trying to find a way around the 98 Clavitt. Remember, Clavitt and Thompson had a run-in earlier in this race. Baxter up to 5th, Denny in 6th as things sit. But here comes Pacey Wygant in 7th. Trying to close in and try to get back to the top 5 here. 9 laps to go. As I mentioned before, up to 4 laps a minute. Do the math, we're about 3 minutes away from this race being over if it ends under green. Is it going to end under green? Is the immediate question here. 8 laps to go. 2 minutes from Pater. For John Hagan. He is waltzed away 7/10 ahead of Bren Roberts. Dean Clavitt in 3rd. Daley Thompson sitting right now in 4th. Up 27 spots after failing to qualify, wrecking out in qualifying. In the top 5, challenging Clavitt for a podium would be Daley Thompson's 2nd podium. If she can hold on to it, almost 4 wide, which you can't really do at Bristol ever. We'll see how it happens here. Wygant trying to charge forward. Bump drafts Clavitt out of 4. Laps tick away, 5 to go. Does Thompson get sent? Clavitt got checked up big time there. They are going to send it big time. Thompson trying to ride the wall. It is not a close contest between Hagan and Roberts at the front. The closest battle at the front is this for third. Kissenweather to the inside. Thompson to the outside. Wygant in fifth. Bailey Thompson for a brief moment had the podium, losing it now to Kissenweather. Thompson trying everything she can to try to hold on to the podium place. The Toyota of Kissenweather just a little bit stronger. Kissenweather clear for third in time for the white flag. 1 lap to go, presented by Henderson Graphics, and here comes the battle for fourth. As John Hagan comes around, he will win here in Bristol. The battle, though, for third, fourth, and fifth is wrapped up. Wygant beats Thompson by a fraction of a second. And Thompson will have to settle for a top 5. Ross Baxter a top 10 and 6th. Josh Susi recovers to 7th. Alfred Denny gets a top 10 and 8th ahead of Eli Sasek and Zach Meredith, who tagged the wall hard, limping around with damage, ends up in the 10th spot. But it is John Hagan who gets your Team Conti winning moment. He gets to celebrate. Got a bump there from Tucker Sawyer. That was Caitlin Height and Eli Sasek that was chasing each other around the racetrack, right? I didn't see that right. I think I did. John Hagan gets to celebrate your race winner here tonight. He gets to celebrate in a big way. Straight to come down pit lane. He'll actually come down to victory lane. He gets to do that here. Once again, new race winner here in Bristol. 6 different race winner in 6 races. I'm trying to figure out the whole victory lane ramp situation. He's got it. I think he should be used to getting into victory lane. He's done it 7 times this season. That's not the victory lane ramp. The victory lane ramp's to the left, John. The ramp that he was trying to use was the pedestrian walkway down. Thompson trying to lead him up the ramp. This is wild. The paradox of John Hagan, everybody. He's been to victory lane so many times, he just always forgets how to get to victory lane to celebrate. And unlike what's happening on your screen, we will not be interviewing Bailey Thompson finishing 5th. We will be interviewing the top 3, John Hagan, Bryn Roberts, and Mark Kissenweather. And he made it. Fantastic. There he is on the pedestal in victory lane. Fantastic job there for Hagan. He's actually killed some people, it looks like, which is unfortunate. But he is in victory lane, so great job for him. Step aside and go for one more break and then go through our podium interviews here from Bristol right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the BFL night race here in Bristol. Post-race interviews coming up here from Thunder Valley. We'll start with our post-race interviews here. We get to talk to some drivers. Let's see if we can talk to, we're not going to be able to talk to Mark Kissenweather. He is not available yet. I'm not sure if he wants to be available after that race. So we will go ahead and we will start with Bryn Roberts, our second place finisher here tonight, who did a fantastic job getting up to second place. Bryn, walk us through that. That was 250 laps of an absolute war for everyone on racetrack tonight.
Yeah, that was very chaotic. I was just talking to Hagen. He said that he made it a point not to go to the back. I didn't quite have that luxury. I wasn't really fast tonight. Just getting lucky a lot of times. There was one wreck where I think it was Meredith slid up and won, and I just barely missed him. A lot of luck comes into this place because, walls on both sides, so people bounce off them and come back up the track, and you just got to hope for the best. So I was fortunate enough. The only thing I really got into was the restart shenanigans that happened real early in the race when we all got checked up. I actually almost blew up if caution didn't come out when it did, so I'm glad that didn't happen. But yeah, this place is just chaotic. You just got to hope for the best and try to put yourself around people you think will take care of you.
And you did just that tonight. You survive a wild 250 lap race here in Thunder Valley. One race left in the season. Obviously, you're not bound for a driver's title, but you are in the conversation for the Owners' Championship. Kentucky, the last race of the season next Monday. What is the feeling going into the Bluegrass State next week to try to get Carolina Beagle Racing that elusive trophy?
I feel pretty good. I ran the A2 race specifically at Kentucky, so I could get some laps. Obviously, it'll be a different setup, but I feel pretty good. I've been pretty strong on the mile and a half since the car update, so hoping to have a good points day there. I'm sure I lost I'm not in the lead of the owners' points. I'm sure Hagen is now, but I'll go in there and do my best and see what happens.
It was a phenomenal drive, though, for the 8 car. We saw looking at the replay of the damage on the nose of the car early on and the recovery you did to keep that car from blowing up here. A wild week coming up here for you as you get ready for the end of the HTL season and the ongoing HTL Cup Series season. Before we let you go and let you get ready for everything coming up here over the next week, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on another podium and another strong effort in that 8 car.
Yeah, thanks to you for the broadcast. Thanks to my teammates, obviously, for a heck of a season that we've been on. Thanks to everybody for running me clean for the most part tonight. There was only a couple iffy incidents, and congratulations to Hagen.
A phenomenal job for Ben Roberts, second place tonight here in Thunder Valley. He will help battle for an Owners' Championship next week in Kentucky. Brian, enjoy it, and we'll hopefully talk to you again next week.
Thank you.
That was Bryn Roberts, our second place finisher. We do have the third place finisher available now, a longer debrief for the Militia Racing Club driver. Once again on the podium, Mark Kissenweather in the third place machine. That 12 car had to fight and scrap and claw for a podium after a very difficult race here in Bristol. Walk us through it. This seemed like a race where everyone was mad at something tonight, and that 12 car had a lot of reason to be mad, and we saw the anger drive to the front of the field at the end of the race.
Yeah, I pretty much kept it clean after the only really incident I had was lap 20, and I didn't even do anything.
Walk us through that race for you, because obviously you talk about the one major incident on lap 20. It seemed like there's a lot of cascading smaller incidents and no one able to escape each other, and that 12 car being constantly surrounded by the madness at the front of the field. Walk us through just sort of how that race went for you there, because on paper it looked pretty straightforward, but it was everything but tonight.
Yeah, I started in the back, had a pretty bad qualifying run. Just drove up as fast as I could to try to get away from everybody. Once I got to the top 10, I pretty much just was hanging out, just picking my spots. Just tried to not be near anybody, give everybody space, and just let them all them all do what they do.
Well, it works out for you here. It's unfortunate these good roads are coming after you were knocked out of the round of 16. Um, being able to end the season with back-to-back podiums here with one race coming up in Kentucky, a track where you were strong earlier this season as well. Does that give you a little bit of solace of this is what the 12 car could have done and this is where the 12 car could have been if those 5 races in the round of 16 had gone well?
Yeah, I think so. Just judging off of how I did the whole regular season, I was pretty much in the running with Hagen the whole year. Just stepped on it at Darlington. Bad luck at the Glen, and what else? Fontana and Talladega just having really bad luck. Just so it is what it is. You can't change it.
Obviously, you can't change any of that. However, you can make the next race as good as the last two podiums in a row, with Kentucky coming up next Monday, a chance to go 3 in a row to end off the season for Militia Racing Club. Before we let you go and let you obviously recharge and get ready for the race next Monday, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. One of the big consistencies this season has been that 12 car being up near the front when it matters, and tonight was no different.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Coulter's Cards, Go Time Cards, Tubbs Graphics, and Militia Racing Club.
A phenomenal job for Mark Kissenweather, the Rookie of the Year for Season 6. That was confirmed a while ago. He gets another podium to add to that accolade. P3 tonight here in Bristol. Mark, good luck in Kentucky, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next weekend.
All right, thank you.
That was Mark Kissenweather, our third place finisher tonight. We will move up the ladder to the man of the hour. He gets his 7th win of the season and ties Josh Soucy with the most wins in a single season. John Hagen, your new points leader by the slimmest of margins after tonight. John, you had to fight for that one. It was not easy, and ultimately it's going to help you come into Kentucky with a chance for a championship. Walk us through it.
The beginning of the race was just learning. I didn't figure out at all how to get into the because there was like brackets of speed. There was a Pacey and whoever else was up there on the practice charts, and I found it out like a minute before practice ended, and I just took that and tried to learn through the first little stint of the race, and I finally did figure it out where the grip was and how to set that up to not kill your right front. And so from there it was like, okay, now can we get track position? And we got it and never relinquished.
And it worked out for the 97 car tonight, a needed result given the bad run of form this car has had since your win at Darlington. It has been pretty rough sledding. The speeding penalty at Watkins Glen, the accidents, at Las Vegas, the accident at Fontana, the Talladega race itself, just as in a nutshell. And then last week at Atlanta, being in contention, wrecking at a turn 4, being put on the back foot there as well. What does this do mentally for you as far as the reset? We've talked about this before because you've had slumps smaller than this before. What is it like going into this, knowing the pressure cooker that this round is like, being able to rebound in such a strong way, grab the stage 2 win, grab as many points as possible, and now have I believe, if I'm looking at my math correctly here, it is less than 10 points for sure. I believe we're looking at...
It's 11. It's 11.
Yeah, but 11 points after the stage points are all counted because Josh Soucy had to recover to 7th. But 11 points is not a lot in this series. Obviously, we saw that. You made up that gap to Swansworth tonight. Going into Kentucky, how does this feel kind of being able to get everything reset?
It feels good. A lot of the leagues I've ran at New Kentucky recently after this update, so I'm really comfortable there. Hopefully the setup isn't too wildly different, but I'm sure it won't be. Just confidence. I mean, we ran there earlier in the season, I think.
Yes, we did.
Oh, yeah, I think I won that
a
one.
little bit different, yeah, because it was in the daytime in the old car, but yeah.
Yeah, but no, just knowing I've won there earlier in the year, knowing I can get the job done, I'm just excited for Kentucky. the goal for the night will be maximize everything. I don't have to go be flashy and put a whooping on the field. I just have to maximize what I can, And if I end up in victory lane and we do it, then that's awesome. That's a cherry on top, but the goal is to win the championship,
Absolutely. That is the first and foremost thing here. 7 race wins, though, ties the record with Josh Susi for the most wins in a single season. Your 8th win in your HTL Cup Series career comes here for the first time in Bristol. Before we let you go and obviously focus on the championship at hand next week in the Bluegrass State, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. I know a huge effort goes on behind the scenes there for Ascent.
Shout out Ascent Racing, everybody over there, Eli, Tucker, other Eli who didn't make it tonight, and Pacey. Pacey was a big help today, especially towards the end of that run when I was on a little bit older tires. Shout out you, Carmen, for putting this on. I know you got to go to work shortly, so shout out you for doing that for us before you inevitably stay up for the next 12 hours. Shout out HTL, putting the league on. Wonderful as always. Thank you to them. Shout out Team Conti for building a banger of a set. That was awesome. Go check them out if you need setups. And shout out my beautiful girlfriend for putting up with me when I do all this.
A wild night for John Hagan. Sees him in victory lane in Thunder Valley. He wins at Bristol, his 7th win of the season. And now your championship leader by 11 points going into Kentucky next Monday. John, good luck and go kill it.
Thank you.
That was John Hagan, your race winner here tonight. A wild run for him. Your winner's interview presented by Team Conti Sim Performance. He talked about it there. The setup was good for him tonight. If you need help with the Gen 7, the Cup cars you saw tonight, the trucks, the Xfinity cars, ARCA, or the new Gen 4s, QR code at the bottom of your screen or teamconti.gg will help you with everything from setups, development, coaching, and more. So let's go into the full results here in Bristol. A wild run, all things considered, here tonight. It is John Hagan that gets the race win, 3rd on the grid to the front of the field. Bryn Roberts, Mark Kissenweather round at your top 3. We heard from all 3 of them tonight. Pacey Wygent holds on to 4th place ahead of Bailey Thompson, who finishes top 5. Ross Baxter in 6th. Josh Susi in 7th. Your Polster having to recover after being wrecked late in this race. Alfred Denny in 8th, Eli Sasek in 9th, Zach Meredith in the top 10. Austin Mongold and Dean Clavitt round out the top 12, all of them on the lead lap there. The lead lap cars stop on the next page. It stops at the top of the next page with Kyle Taub. Zach Apperson ends up 2 laps down in 14th place. Richard Odie in 15th, one of his best results of the season. Dustin Hall recovers to 16th after qualifying 30th. Chad Slotsworth in 17th, Lily Sharp in 18th, Tucker Sawyer and Josh Gaiman round out the top 20th. Caitlin Height, 21st. Her race went to absolute smithereens during stage 2. Ends up in 21st place. Davis Mill Jr. in 23rd. Ahead of Callie Height and Dale Markowski, who round out your top 24. All of these drivers had a very rough night once you get down below 20th place. A lot of them did not finish. And then you look further down the order. Mason Massey, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver, started off hot, couldn't get the job done later on, gets collected in a couple accidents. His race comes to a close after lap 100. Blake Henderson, once again, if it's not for bad luck, it's no luck at all for him. He's 26th. Matt Vorndren filling in for Patrick Overstat had an early close to the night on lap 102. Jeremy Braille, Hunter Peete, Tyler Ratliff, and Josh Arnold end out the race. Josh Arnold completing just 2 laps tonight, being wrecked out early here in Bristol. Very similar to how it went 2 seasons ago for Josh Arnold. That'll do it from everyone here in the HTL Cup Series from Thunder Valley. No racing on Wednesday. The AVN Champ Car World Series on its summer vacation. We'll be back on Saturday, doubleheader. It is the VRR Super Cup right here on Twitch, 2 p.m. on Saturday from Phillip Island. And at 8 p.m., it is the ARCS High Octane Series from Darlington. You're not going to miss it. The Championship 5 begins on Saturday for the ARCS High Octane Series. And then right here on Twitch on Sunday, it is the Winstel Cup Series from Chicagoland. Next Monday is the season finale of the HTL Cup Series Season 6. Championship on the line. Figure out who's going to be champion this season to close out the summer. On behalf of HTL, for BFL, for everyone here at ABN Studios, I'm Carmen Sienna. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy your week. We'll see you this Saturday in Australia and in Darlington. So long, everybody.